All right, everyone, welcome to our Team Dream Believers team call. I wanted to have you all, I thought about this last week, I wanted you all to come together with me so that we can discuss a particular topic. And what made me think about doing this is because I had a few one-on-one calls with some coaches, and I wanted to go over the inviting process with them. And so we did a little role play, and I realized, it was really beneficial, and I thought it would be a great idea to do all together as a team. Because inviting is, I think, the most talked about topic, the most worried about, the most troublesome, and the topic that is so most important too, because that's how we, feel we wind up getting people to join our challenge groups and the coaching opportunity. And so we really need to know the proper way to invite and the order in which we do things when we invite people. So I invited Hank to be our guest speaker. I had the brainstorm when I was talking with him when we were doing our one-on-one mentoring. And so being that I thought about it while I was with him, I love the fact that he's here now so that he can be the guest speaker and give us his wisdom and his knowledge and experience about inviting. So Hank, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm going to do a role play with you guys and see how it is that I do it. To do that, I'm looking for a volunteer first. Who wants to volunteer with me?
Mm-hmm.
Just raise your hand. Somebody, don't be bashful. It's not hard.
Okay.
Ellen. Ellen's the volunteer, the brave soul.
I can't see Ellen for some reason.
Ellen's down here at the bottom on the right.
Yeah, I don't see her for some reason. So I'm on my iPad, so I only see 8 of us. So
okay.
Bonnie, Holly, Lori, Angela, Laura, Kristen, and Krista.
Yes, Ellen's right next to Krista. She's on the other side of Krista.
Okay, perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and mute everyone's mic except for Ellen and myself. That will help to reduce some of the bandwidth issues. That as clean as possible.
Okay.
All right. Ellen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. I can hear you as well. All right. And then Bonnie, will you mute yourself too?
Sure. And everyone make sure to take notes.
Yes. All right, cool. So welcome everyone. So I'm very excited to work with you all. So I'm going to go through a role play scenario of what I actually do with my customers, with my coaches, which will then help you to learn the formula, the format that I use. So Ellen, you're going to be one of my official customers, meaning that you have created your free Team Beachbody account that I like to use Pile as my example because Pile is usually on sale, or it's a $140 challenge pack as my example. So we've been chatting back and forth via Facebook PM. I've sent you the Pile video. You may or may not have tried Shakeology in the past. So that's kind of the high-level setup of the pre-work that's already in place. Does everyone understand? Can everyone just nod? Okay, cool. So part of my business is I use hurdles. So I use a challenge group application. I use a coach internship application. I use creating a free account as a hurdle, meaning that if I provide you a hurdle, only the serious are going to complete it. Therefore, I'm better able to manage my time and weed out who I consider the tire kickers. Does that make sense as well? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So Ellen has already completed my challenge group application, which for me, instead of playing 20 questions, allows me to get a lot of information so that I can ask very specific questions based on the information provided as to what it is I understand, don't understand, what I want to dive further into, which then allows me to then really get in and customize and help them, but take a 2-hour call down to half an hour, 45 minutes, because it's very targeted. I'm not playing 20 questions of what are your goals and struggles. I already have it. It's already in the application. So it really helps me to fast track that relationship building to the next place, regardless of whether you've ever participated in one of my groups or not. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So, as part of the setup, Ellen, I'm going to ask some personal questions from you. I want you to think back of the time. I don't know you personally, so I don't know your fitness journey, weight loss journey stories. So I want you to think back of a time when you are looking to lose 40 to 60 pounds, or to answer my questions more like one of your customers or coaches. Does that make sense? That way you understand the formula that I use, which makes everything just start to spin off much more fluently, as well as then you can customize that formula for somebody who's in their, trying to lose their final 20 pounds. Does that make sense? And this formula isn't necessarily just for someone who wants to lose weight. It's the easiest example. You're going to tweak the verbiage, tweak the language accordingly, but you'll start to hear some of the custom language that I use and how I move people in and through my systems. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now Ellen and I have an appointment. I do all of my appointments via Zoom. I don't do any phone calls whatsoever, simply because there's now 4,700 plus coaches in this organization in 4 years. The Zoom calls allow me to build relationships with people. I can see when they're bored. I can see when they're taking notes. I can see when they're stressed out, all of that. Whereas I found 4 years ago, when we didn't have Zoom yet, I was just doing everything by a phone, and I found I was talking at people, not necessarily with people. So Zoom has been a great tool in not only training coaches, but building relationships with customers and coaches. 99.9% of my business are random strangers from Facebook, primarily. That's my primary go-to when it comes to my business. So I need that tool to help me build. I'm no longer in corporate America. I'm a full-time coach. This is all I do with my sole source of income. I have a few classmates, high school classmates who are coaches. I have friends here in Chicago who are coaches, but most of my coaches are random strangers, either assigned by the lead wheels or from social media. So it's really critical for me to build those relationships. So when I'm talking about Shakeology, I'm not, some guy standing on a box preaching down. I'm really helping them to use the tools, both workouts and Shakeology, to best meet their goals. All right? Cool. So here we go. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Ellen, it's Hank. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing well. Say, we were chatting on Facebook, and we have an appointment now. Want to make sure, is this time still good for you?
Yes, still good.
Well, awesome. So as you recall, we were exchanging some videos back and forth regarding PIO and Shakeology. And then I asked you to complete my challenge group application so I can get in and have a better understanding of what exactly your goals are, your struggles are. And so now this appointment is designed for me to kind of delve into the next layer of the onion, if you will, to really understand it and create a custom program for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask a number of personal questions. I understand, differences of the sexes here can be a little uncomfortable. I'm just going to ask you to be as honest as possible so that I can make sure I'm, heading in the right direction versus down a rabbit hole. So everything you say is confidential. I'm not going to share this. It doesn't go on Facebook. It doesn't anything. Okay. So just realize your confidentiality is strictly held. So let's just kind of dive right in. So very quickly, I'm going to add, based on your application, it says that you are currently 220 pounds, right?
Yes.
And that your goal weight is 150. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. We're friends on Facebook, so I can see pictures there, but, pictures don't necessarily always tell me the full story as to how someone holds their weight or what their trouble spots are. So may I ask, what is your current pant and or dress size?
16.
Okay. And how about your blouse size?
Extra large.
Okay. And let's think about that goal weight of 150. What kind of a pant or dress size was that someplace you used to be? And if so, what was that dress or pant size back then?
That was about an 8, size 8.
Okay. And how about a blouse size?
A medium.
Time out. The reason why I ask those questions, regardless of the sexes, I take that very ugly scale that I think is honestly a piece of garbage that I don't allow my customers or coaches to buy them. We buy body composition monitors. It takes it from that negative space to that very positive space of not, how much I ballooned up or whatever term you might want to use. It turns it into this rather generic, positive environment. It's easier to talk to. At the same time, I'm sure we all love to shop. We've just seen a pair of shorts or a skirt or a blouse or whatever in the window. We would love to be able to fit that again. So it's all about bringing it from the negative and staying on the positive, as well as later on down the road, how I can then teach this person how to use the tools. For example, a body composition monitor versus the bath scale and other tools that I use to help them, aid them in their journey and realize the progress they may have made regardless of what the scale says. Does that make sense? Everyone can just nod. Okay, perfect. And we'll have a Q&A at the end if there's time left. So I always do a little timeout to help give you some of the background feedback of how I ask certain questions and why. If I'm talking to a man, I always ask jean size. I don't want to say slacks or shorts or whatever, because to one guy he might wear a three-piece suit, whereas the next guy might be a day laborer. So I'm always being specific. I'm going to say pants and I'm going to say t-shirt. Because I say shirt, that can be a button up to one guy, a polo to another guy, a t-shirt for another. So I'm always talking the least common denominators. So it's in my notes going, wait, I don't have the issue later, 3 months down the road going, wait, you said that you were at, an extra large and then you said you wanted to be a medium. Now you're telling me a large. I have to go back and figure out what happened to our least common denominator. Did we lose our least common denominator? Or because it can cause confusion. So I'm always dress pants size for ladies and then blouse size. And then jeans and t-shirt for men. Does that make sense? Cool. Plus, that then helps me understand kind of how they hold their weight as well. All right, perfect. So back into the conversation with Ellen. So Ellen, on this journey from 220 down to 150, how long have you been on this journey?
About 10 years.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you have done in those 10 years?
Well, it's gone up and down quite a bit. When I was 150 was my weight before I had children, and then I had children and I wasn't able to get all of the weight back off. I got back down to maybe 190, and then I went back up again, and then life takes over and I got stressed and I started eating again more of the junk food instead, and I couldn't stick with it.
Okay. May I ask how many kids you have and what their ages are?
2. I'll just make up. Should I make up?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. 9 and 7.
Boys, girls?
2 boys.
Perfect. Okay. And so you did the normal yo-yo, lose it, gain it, which is pretty common. So what were some of the things that you were actually doing that got you down to that 190 before things went back up?
I watched what I ate a little bit more, and I just got so busy. So I would go out for more walks and do more outdoor things. I went to the gym, but it would only be maybe for about a month, and then I would run. I wouldn't go back again.
Was that because you were getting discouraged because you weren't losing as fast as you wanted to? Or was it, I know some gyms offer daycare, some don't. Was it too expensive? Was it the travel? Give me an idea as to some of the contributing factors.
Okay, well, the gym schedule was hard to stick to because I liked taking classes. I didn't know what to do when I went to the gym when there wasn't a class, and I didn't really want to get a personal trainer. And so the equipment to me was boring. So I was kind of stuck to their schedule. And then after about a month of it, I found that it was hard to find the right schedule for me. So I stopped going.
Okay, perfect. That helps me to understand a lot. So it was the gym schedule. it was the class schedule. Like here in Chicago, we have 24/7 gyms. I love those.
Mhm.
Along with Beach Got a Coach, I work at home now. But when I went before, yeah, it's like, I love my 24-hour gyms. The PTs are expensive, and then watching what you ate. So, all right, that gives me an idea of kind of where we're at, what we've done, and then how I can then best assist you. So let's delve into your eating schedule. So my first question is, do you know what the term fasting period means?
No.
Okay. The fasting period is time between our last meal and our first meal. What do you think happens when somebody has a really long fasting period?
Metabolism slows down.
Correct, exactly. Our metabolism slows way down, which then makes it more difficult to lose weight. Because when we have a fast metabolism, our body is able to then metabolize and burn calories, therefore more efficiently burn calories when we're sleeping. So we're going to go through, and I'm going to ask a bunch of questions to get an idea when you wake, when your meals are, what your meals consist of. Sidebar, I don't want you to tell me anything about Shakeology. We're going to assume you're not on it. You may have tried in the past, but you're currently not on it. So I can then create a custom based on what you give me, I can help design a custom time for you when to use and how to use Shakeology.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just go ahead and start. So I believe you said via the application you have a normal 9-to-5 job. Is that correct?
Yes.
9 to 5, Monday through Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's focus then, because that's the larger part of our week. Let's go ahead and focus on that versus weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So when you work 9 to 5, what time do you wake up?
About 7.
Okay. What time do you leave for work?
8 a.m. About 8 o'clock.
Okay. Do you tend to eat breakfast before you leave for work?
I usually stop on the way and pick up a sandwich.
From where and what kind of sandwich?
Usually like egg and cheese on a bagel.
I love it already. All right. And then what, do you eat that on the way to work? Do you eat that at work?
Bonnie's laughing. I eat it on the way. Or sometimes I'll eat it at work, or the day goes by fast, and if I can't finish it on the way, then I have half of it and I have the other half later.
Okay. Do you like get a hash brown or orange juice or coffee with that?
Coffee. And no, not really juice. So once in a while I'll get a juice.
Okay, so let's just then say breakfast is sometime between basically 8:30 and 9. Does that sound good?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's jump forward to lunch. What time is lunch?
At noon.
And then do you work in a large corporate building whereby you have then cafeteria services on site, or are you going out every day for lunch? Do you bring lunch?
Sometimes I'll go out if we get more time, if I don't have as much work. But there is a cafeteria. But on Fridays everyone goes out, so we'll all go out for lunch.
All right. I know most corporate environments, when they have a cafeteria, it's like there's the burger bar, the pizza bar, the salad bar, so on and so forth. Is that kind of your environment as well?
Yeah, there's a wrap. There's a place that they make wraps too, but we sometimes can have hot meals as well, like pasta.
So a lot of choices. Okay, cool. So with those choices, what do you tend to usually go for?
Sometimes I'll get pasta, and other times I'll get the wrap when I'm trying to. Depends how hungry I am. So usually like a turkey wrap or a sandwich. And other times I like the pasta.
Okay, fair enough. Let's think about the turkey wrap. Does your cafeteria offer different styles of wrap, meaning like the spinach wrap or the roasted red tomato wrap or the wheat wrap, or is it usually the white wrap?
Yeah, there's a combination. They have a variety. You can do the spinach or I like the spinach.
Okay. And then is it also whereby you get to then detail what you want in or don't want in your wrap?
Yes, I can put tomatoes and lettuce and add some other extras,
Okay.
cheese.
All right. How about sauces? Do you have any sauces put in there?
Mayonnaise.
I hate time. I can't stand mayo. But anyways, all right.
That's
So,
why I said it. Or Russian dressing
okay.
or mustard.
All right. Let's jump forward to dinner. What time is typically dinner for you and your boys?
Around 6.
Okay. And what does the dinner typically look like?
Um, hmm. Let's see. I'm not the best cook, so if they like chicken parmesan, I'll try and make that once in a while. But I'm always pretty busy. So sometimes we could pick up on the way home. It depending on their sports. If we have to run out, then it's easier to just go to a drive-through, and then it's usually burgers or pizza. And just because the time element, it's hard to always find the time to cook.
Right, right. How about like frozen meals? Is that part
Once
of
in a while.
Once in a while? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you when you and the boys are, shall we say, in the situation, do you tend to choose healthier option or just kind of whatever you're hungry for?
If there's time and I am shopping at the grocery store, I'll try and get some healthy options. But I feel like lately it's just been not enough time to choose healthier options. The fast, like Wendy's. I mean, they do have chicken sandwiches sometimes, but
I mean, and there's certainly nothing wrong with those when it comes to a pinch. And we'll certainly talk later on in the appointment here about some of the crafty things that I do when it comes to meal planning and scheduling and all of that stuff. So, but thank you. I mean, this gives me a great understanding so far. What time do you usually go to bed?
I'd say about 10 o'clock. I try to. Sometimes it's 11.
Okay, let's go back through your day and then talk about snacks. Are you someone who tends to snack?
Yeah, there's vending machines, so I could go down and get some snacks at the vending machines.
Is this something that you do pretty much daily? Is that pretty common?
If I don't pack my own snacks, sometimes if I have extra stuff at home, I'll grab some of the bars, or some fruit. But other times I'll go down to the vending machine. It's closer, and the cafeteria is not open all day. So
when are you most likely to snack? Is it in the morning or the afternoon or combination of both?
Definitely the afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock.
And would you say that when you, if you look back at when either the days you snack the most, or if you realize a pattern there, can you kind of tie it to something you had for lunch, meaning something that wasn't necessarily as nutritious as a salad or more substantial? Would that? Can you kind of see a correlation there?
I think I'm more hungry when I eat the healthier food. Actually, I don't know,
Yeah.
but like pasta holds me over a lot longer.
Right. Okay. How about in the evenings? Do you tend to snack before bed as well?
Yeah, yes, I usually do, because it's a long. If I eat and then running them around, by the time I want to relax at 9 o'clock or so, I usually want something to nosh on.
Okay. All right. So remember when we started and I was asking about the fasting period? So it looks like your fasting period is basically 9 p.m. till about 8:30, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's 11 and a half hours. That's really, really long. Would you agree?
Yes.
All right. So here's sidebar. Provided this is all accurate to what you're doing now, this is how where I'm gonna put Shakeology in specifically for you. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for you, we're gonna put Shakeology in that before bed snack. So doesn't have to be a full glass. Maybe it's a half glass. I'll let you choose whether there's financial issues regarding how much Shakeology you have maybe on stock or how often you can drink it, so on and so forth. I'll leave that up to you. But here's why I want to put Shakeology in to the mix as your before bed snack. Do you know the difference between a protein isolate and a protein concentrate?
No.
A protein concentrate, regardless of packaging, regardless whether it's Target, Walmart, GNC, Vitamin World, it's cheap and it's fast digesting. Whereas a protein isolate is slow digesting. All we include in Shakeology are protein isolates, regardless of the flavor, regardless of the formula, whether it be the vegan, which is sprouted brown rice, oatmeal, and pea-based proteins, versus the non-vegan, which is whey-based. So if we take that Shakeology, for example, at 9 p.m., and those protein isolates take 4 to 6 hours to digest, we've now taken your nearly 12-hour fasting period and cut it down to almost half. Does that make sense already?
Mm-hmm.
So if we've now given our body the proper level of nutrition, what do you think is going to happen to our metabolism overnight?
It'll work harder and speed up.
It will stay more elevated, therefore allowing us to burn more fat while we're sleeping. Beautiful thing, right?
That's easy. Yeah. I like to burn fat while I'm sleeping.
This is why diets don't work. It causes people to have fasting periods which are too long, and so the metabolism can't stay as elevated as it could. They're simply starving themselves in most cases. At the same time, for you, I don't like coffee. So I would much rather have you do a Shakeology with breakfast as well. The 70 plus superfoods, we can talk about the of the bases, whether it be skim milk or a dairy-based product or water or whatever. You're surely not going to get the caloric intake of the egg, sausage, bagel, and coffee, but you're going to get far more nutrition, okay? Which, again, we're giving the body, those protein isolates plus the 70 plus superfoods. So that's 4 to 6 hours of food to digest, so that I'm probably not going to be snacking in the morning, okay? If I'm now eating more healthfully, I'm going to want to eat more healthfully when it comes to lunch. So I understand that the pasta is inexpensive. I understand that the pasta is filling and tides you over. I mean, it makes logical sense. However, I know that as we kind of pick away at the 220 pounds, all the other pieces will start to come into place. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's something that I teach, and I call it conscious decisions. It simply means that with every bite, every step, everything that I do, I'm looking at the choices laid before me, and I'm choosing the healthier choices. Doesn't mean I can't have my Oreos, which I don't eat anymore. Doesn't mean I can't have the ice cream, which I don't have that anymore. But it's a conscious decision not to have that stuff, because I don't want that crap in my body, quite honestly. So let's say, for example, you already have part of it down pat. When you have your wrap, you choose to have the spinach or the roasted tomato wrap. When it comes to our sauces, though, we can choose healthier sauces. So the mustard's a great one. That's a great idea. Versus the mayo. Or, there would be nothing wrong with, getting a side of salad dressing. What choice, whether I'm having a salad or a wrap and I have my dressing on the side, what choice might I have with every single bite?
What choice on the side?
Yeah, when you have your dressing on the side, what choice would I have with every single bite?
Oh, how much to put on it.
Right, exactly. Whether to dip or not dip, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a lingering taste of, say, for example, ranch dressing, from my previous bite, I'm probably not going to dip the next bite. Therefore, I'm not taking in those additional calories, the sodium, the preservatives, all that are garbage into my body, right?
Right. It's a great idea. Mm-hmm.
I'm now making minor, itty-bitty little changes to eat more healthfully, which I understand you're snacking in the afternoon, and we'll talk about that too. So you can still have your pasta, but choose it wisely, meaning maybe it's a salad with then a cold pasta salad on the side from the salad bar versus the spaghetti and meatballs or the fettuccine alfredo or the whatever. So I'm still having that pasta to help my energy stores, but I'm not eating the bad pastas with all the extra calories loaded up in the sauces. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Here's what I do when it comes to snacks. So as I think you know, I now travel monthly with or for Beachbody. So I have a specific backpack with a specific middle component, and I load it up before I go. I don't care if I'm going away for a week or 4 days or 10 days, wherever I'm going. I load it up. So I buy, depends on where I'm going and for how long what I pack. But for example, almonds. I can go to Target and get the Archer Farms for, I think it's a pound bag for like $6. Don't quote me on that. Or I can go to Sam's Club and I can get the 3 pounds for $14. Now, here's what I do with them. It depends on how long I'm traveling for. One of the things that I do is I love the little Ziploc snack packs, where for me, I will put 4 servings of almonds in one of those. That's 28 grams of protein. I know I'm going to be starving because it's not a lot of volume food-wise, but it's pre-portioned. So I know how many calories I'm putting in my system. I know how many grams of protein I'm putting in my system. I do the same thing with cashews. I do the same with walnuts. I do the same thing with walnuts are about $14 at Sam's Club for a 2-pound bag. Pecans are like $16 for a 2-pound. I love them. When I was a kid, I grew up in northern Minnesota. We had this thing called gourd. Considered, today it's trail mix. You can make your own gourd, your own trail mix, and put what you want in it. Maybe dried cranberries, maybe raisins. So you always have pre-made snacks as go-tos versus the vending machine. Does that make sense? Therefore, we now have conscious decisions already in place to eat not only less expensive than the vending machine, we have it pre-portioned out. Therefore, it's easy to go to and eat. So that would be another, shall we say, homework assignment for you, is to work into that process. I would, when I was in corporate America, I had them in my gym bag. I had them in my briefcase. I always, always, always had snacks. That's part of planning ahead. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right, cool. So here's what I want to do for you. So we talked about conscious decisions. We talked about how to use Shakeology specifically for you. Let's jump into in the past. I know you bought in a bag or two of Shakeology from me. What were you mixing it with? What was your base, and how were you mixing it?
In the past, I used almond milk and banana.
Okay, cool. So very healthy. If we were to, for example, most of my folks I have buy the triple combo box. So they're not the shaker cup and the scoop and all that mess. It's simply the pack. Well, it's still shaker cup, but they have the packets. So for you, do you have, for example, a refrigerated work whereby you could then have almond milk at work, or you could go buy the little jugs from the cafeteria if necessary? So you would then have a go-to snack of Shakeology handy if that's what you're wanting, or you're wanting something more chocolate versus the snack pack of nuts. Would that make sense?
Yeah, it's a refrigerator I could use, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So we have another viable option there as under conscious decisions for a healthy snack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So here's how I want to put everything together for you. So I like the triple combo box. That's the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry packets. So you're getting 8 of each. If I recall from my notes, you were a strawberry chocolate lover. Is that right?
Yes.
I'm kind of free-forming here now, guys. But okay, cool. So I believe you know that the price of Shakeology is $130, regardless whether it's the 30-day serving bag, meaning the scoop, or the 24 packets. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Could someone take over? I'm sorry. No, my real little baby is crying and she won't stop.
Yeah.
Can someone take over for me because I'm trying to ignore her, but my husband's not home.
Yep, sure.
I'm sorry.
Wants to take over?
Come on, someone. We need a volunteer for me.
I think Angela nodded.
I'll be right back.
Angela,
You need to unmute your mic, Angela. I think
I'm doing it. Okay, got it.
So cool. So we're going to take everything that, Elle and I just, work through and just continue rolling forward with this. Okay. So,
Okay.
Just all those pieces of the puzzle. So we're going to go with the triple combo box. You've already said you like the chocolate strawberry. You understand that Shakeology is $130, whether it be the 30-day supply bag or the 24 samples, correct? Do you are there any financial issues that I should be aware of as to, of course, the 30-day supply bag is a better buy, absolutely, hands down. The point why I like the packets is you don't have that mess. You then have, the choice every single day. What flavor do I want? I'm not going, oh gosh, the bag of chocolate came. I wanted the vanilla. Now I have to wait or buy another one or exchange. I don't have that drama, right?
I'm sorry. I just have to say one thing. Angela.
Yeah.
Opportunity to tell Hank any objections that you get that you have a hard time overcoming. Use this opportunity to your advantage so you hear how Hank would handle it.
Okay.
That's fine. We can do that. We're good on time.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're okay with the triple combo box, right?
Yeah, we are, but I'm not going to be able to go further after the 24 days. I'm not going to financially be able to afford it. So what do I do?
Yeah. So I appreciate you being forthright and honest with me. So we're gonna get the challenge pack for you. We're gonna do that whole wholesale buyer thing that gives you your 25% discount. You've already gone from 220 down to 190 in the past. Here's part of the beauty is with my custom design support and assistance, we're going to get you going in the right direction again. I'm going to show you how to then bring your coworkers in as you start to lose weight. Your coworkers, your friends, your PTA members, everyone's going to start asking questions. I'm going to be there to hold your hand every step of the way. You, as a wholesale buyer, you have all the privileges that I have as a full-time coach. Your online store, the 25% discount, the direct deposit, all of that. Except for we're not putting you into the realm of a business builder so that if you want to do that, we can do that. The beauty is when we bring 3 of those customers in ordering Shakeology through your store, we call that profitability. Therefore, your Shakeology is free. Those commissions are paying for your Shakeology. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that will then help us to alleviate or at least partially address that Shakeology at day 25. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
To be a discount buyer coach, is there a fee?
There is. It's a $15.95 fee, which we pay monthly, but you won't pay that until day 31. The great thing is if you think of Shakeology, $130 full price, $100 for the coach price, you put on that $15.95, it still leaves you about a $10 net cash savings. Over the course of 1 year, that's a free bag of Shakeology, right? So in the end, it's no different than my going to Sam's Club or Costco. It's just now I have the opportunity to earn a weekly paycheck. We haven't even talked about your income goals or what you might want to turn this into. Many of my coaches are like you. They are stay-at-home moms. They have kids. They're struggling to make ends meet. And Beachbody provides an income vehicle on the side to help address those income issues, as well as over time, once we just spun up and fully trained, you could turn this into a 6-figure income like I have. It took me 2 years to do that, but it's possible.
But I'm not interested in being a coach and working the business.
Okay.
So for a savings of $10, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. Sidebar. Ideally, I should have stopped buying because I want everyone to get the higher level recipe of it all without the objections, so that we can tie those into a second call. But that's okay. It just makes the recipe more difficult because first we're learning the formula, and then we bring in the objections. But it is what it is. Okay, so I understand what you're saying. You're saying that that $10 net cash savings, that free bag of Shakeology a year to you, doesn't really mean anything for you. That you're not interested in the coaching opportunity. I totally get that. And that's totally fine. I'm not gonna push you into something you don't want to do. Okay. First and foremost, I'm not gonna make you do something you want to do. But I want you to have your constant stream of Shakeology without the needing to rob Peter to pay Paul to get it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So how I teach it specifically is called profitability, whereby for my coaches, I realize you're not wanting to be one, but I'm going to give you the pieces of these puzzle anyways. So for me, profitability is free Shakeology, my business service fee, club membership, which not all coaches have to have, but it's part of your BOD, your Beachbody On Demand access, as well as a free fitness program every 60 to 90 days. But it'd be the latest, greatest thing you want to do or give to your mother-in-law as a gift or whatever. That's called profitability, meaning our Beachbody business is paying all of those expenses. That means you're earning roughly around $250 a month. Yes, it takes work. Again, I understand that's not something that you want to do. The beauty of the what I'm trying to communicate here, not very efficiently, but I apologize, is that as you are losing weight, others are going to ask you questions. Instead of saying, oh yeah, I bought my Pio from Amazon or eBay or Beachbody, that $30 goes in your pocket, which then helps you then pay for your Shakeology next month. But if you're not a coach, you don't earn that $30. So at the same time,
you know what they say to me?
What's that?
They said that. You know what they say to me when that happens? When I say that, they said, "That's okay. I'm gonna refer the customers to you, and you can make them a commission."
Okay, and that's certainly a backup option. Like, you know what? Hey, I love.
And then they drop out.
I would be more than happy to kick you. I would be more than happy to send you kickbacks, or by, and I will negotiate something with that individual person that's within their confines of their goals, their why, and whatever. Usually, for me personally, it turns into a fitness program to help build up their library while they're getting more fit. Very rarely does it. It can when we had the Team Beachbody gift cards, they were Team Beachbody gift cards, so they're turning around and I'm investing $25 in them, but they're turning around and buying something out of my store, so I'm earning the commission back on. So, but we no longer sell those, so that's no longer an option. Or another sidebar option here would be if it's somebody who's geographically close to me. Maybe it's that $130 sticker price or the $100 sticker price. It just sounds like a lot of money. I can sell you a week's supply at a time. I can sell you 5 samples at a time. Whatever it takes to help you bridge whatever paycheck to paycheck or other configuration to help you get to where it is you want to go. Now, if you're saying that you simply just want Shakeology, you don't believe in it, whatever, that's a totally different conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so let's say, for example, you're saying, I just don't want the Shakeology, I don't want the challenge pack, and okay, that's fine. Then we're gonna short circuit everything and say, okay, cool. So let's jump into the next piece of the conversation here. So I've got your meal planning down. I have your current weight, goal weight, dress pant size, blouse size. How many days of work right now are you working out? Whether it be in the gym, DVDs, doing something.
Right now I'm not really working out. I walk a lot with my dog, my kids. I'll go to the park and we walk around a lot. We'll bike ride. But I'm not doing any fitness activity on for myself.
Hey, that's perfect. And that's where I think most people don't think outside the box. Fitness doesn't have to be I'm in a gym or in front of a DVD, does it?
Mhm.
You know, we were talking to Ellen about that whole conscious decisions. I could choose to take the long way to the printer or the restroom. That'd be a conscious decision to add steps to my day, right? I
Mhm.
can park a little farther back in the parking lot. I can need something in the middle of the Target and choose to walk the entire outer perimeter before I ever go into the middle. That would be, you know, again, examples of conscious decisions and adding steps to my day. Certainly not necessarily going to raise my heart rate into a cardio zone, therefore an official workout, but at least it's something more than nothing, right? So
Mhm.
part of what I do with my customers and coaches is I don't care if you're, you know, at 0 or 5 or 7 or whatever number you're currently working out. It's a minor increment. I don't say you copy a P90X and expect you to go from 0 to 7. No, that's a failure. That's a diet, right?
Mhm.
So I get in, I find out someone's work schedule, I find out what their goals are, and then I custom design them for them. For example, so you're getting the full gamut of how it is I do what I do, and why I'm so successful. Let's say, for example, I have a woman, a single mother of 3, and she wants to lose 60 pounds. She only wants to work out twice a week. She already has a walking program, jogging program, whatever. Okay, perfect. So we're not setting an alarm at 6 o'clock in the morning. If that's what she wants to do, that's what I will work with her to do. We're running out of time here, so I'm kind of very consolidated here. So she's 60. She has bad hips, weak knees. We're not doing day 1, disc 1, day 2, disc 2, day 3, disc 3. No, we're doing day 1, disc 1, day 2, disc 1, day 3, disc 1. I want her to, you know, if we have, you know, mobility issues or balance issues, we might have 2 kitchen chairs on the sides of us, so that as she gets to know the movements, the transition movement in that disc, she's more comfortable. We might then work through every single disc in that fashion. If I have an older lady, yeah, she's doing that same disc for an entire week before she ever moves on to the next disc. Therefore, she knows the transitions. She knows that stuff. So that when we finish through that one round, then maybe she's moving to doing that disc for 2 days, and then graduating to the next disc and repeating those steps until she feels comfortable, and then comes back in and does day 1, disc 1, day 2, disc 2, day 3, disc 3. Make sense? So everything is absolutely custom designed. Just like I did with Ellen regarding when she's using Shakeology, most coaches, I feel, think that they should use Shakeology for breakfast, and that's absolutely not correct. Absolutely not correct. If somebody is telling me that they are eating a healthy breakfast and lunch and then binging all afternoon and evening, obviously what they're doing is not working. Obviously, I need to get Shakeology into that piece because of the protein isolates. I've been struggling for 10 years to lose 20 pounds, Hank. What's your fasting period? So I'm always looking for those pieces of the puzzle, and then how to custom design it. So we're down to the last 5 minutes, and I have a lot more material that I can present. So I'm going to present one more piece, and then let's open up for Q&As. So if you remember from when we started this with Ellen, we were already forming via Facebook. She'd already seen the PIO video and the Shakeology videos. So let's say I know that Jabani wanted this larger inviting process. So let's step way back to that very beginning piece, and how do I do that? All right, does that make sense? Okay, cool. So I'm a certified personal trainer. So I then ask key questions from that knowledge, regardless of the sexes. So it goes something like this. So what kind of workouts do you like better? And I alluded to this in the group earlier. So what kind of workouts do you like better? Do you like dancey things, or do you like sports drills? If they say sports drills, I know exactly, we're talking about Insanity, Asylum, right? Okay. There's 130 programs in the product catalog. If you think of it, but from each individual disc, and there's a lot more than that now. I've been coaching for 4 years. A lot of programs have come up. But I'm asking very specific questions to find out where in the product catalog we're talking about, right? Based on what it is they like. So sports girls versus dancey stuff. So once I have that, then the next question is going to be, are there any mobility issues, weak ankles, weak knees, injuries, surgeries, things that I should be aware of? Oh yeah, I hurt my back 5 years ago. Okay, does that currently bother you? Again, I want to then identify whether we can be doing jarring movements or not. Therefore, I'm further segmenting myself into a part of the product catalog. Lastly, in the end, those are the two primary questions. I know exactly where we're at. If I don't, then there's a third one, and it just depends on what I have found out so far. So, I'm trying to give a good example. Because my application hurdle systems weed all that out. I already have it, so I don't have to ask them. Not like I used to before I had the application hurdles. Let's say, for example, I have the woman who's 60, who wants to lose 60 pounds, who has weak knees, ankles, hips, whatever. So I know automatically I'm talking about Slim and 6, Brazil butt lift, and PIO, right? I mean, those would be the three that I would go for personally. So part of that Facebook PMing conversation forming is going to be, okay, I want you to take a look at this video and this video. Okay, and oftentimes we actually do this via Zoom, so I can actually hear it being played in the background. I'm not, did you watch the video yet? I don't waste my time. I do not have time to waste time. That's why everything's about Zoom and appointments. So, all right, cool. So between the Slim and 6 and the Brazil butt lift, you saw the trainer, you heard some music, you saw some of the movements. Do you see yourself doing those movements? Do you have any concerns with the music, the trainer, not like the music, not like the trainer, or the moves? What any concerns are actually aware of? Yeah, no, Slim and 6 just doesn't look a lot of fun for me. I'm sorry, Leandro, I really don't, my Espanol not so great, so I don't think I would connect with him. Okay, perfect. So then we're gonna put in PIO. You know what? I've never done yoga. I've never done Pilates. Oh, that's fine. That's perfect, because actually the first disc in PIO is a 40-minute training video just on the moves where Shailene takes us through very, very slowly. So regardless of whether someone's ever done PIO or yoga, don't worry about it. We're going to teach you, and I'm going to do it with you. So that's kind of how, in the end, the key question at the end of the 2-3 videos is, I want to know which video excites them most. If I find the video that excites you the most, that's the one you're going to succeed at, because that's the one you're going to want to do, right? If I set you up with P90X and it's a challenge and it's a struggle and you don't like it, you're not going to do it. I feel you as a coach. It is now my job to work through an exchange, refund, all of that, right? So I never come out and say, you should do PIO. You'll never see it on my Facebook. If you guys follow me, and I know some of you guys are friends, I don't post any salesy stuff. I really don't, because that's not what it is I do. Everything comes down to, I form the living shit out of you, excuse my language, to find out as much as I possibly can about you, so that in the end, it comes down to, I believe you should do X, Y, Z because blah, blah, blah. You've told me everything I need to know. Does that make sense? And then I'm walking you through that custom design process. And it's not necessarily in just one session either. So, for example, let's say we were going to go, we were ready to do, to go ahead and order online. I'm going to walk you through the whole online ordering process. I'm going to schedule a follow-up call for next week. Well, in this case, you would have BOD access. So I'm going to get you started right away with working through BOD while your disc ships. To me, BOD does not replace discs. If I don't see it, there's no value, right? I might have to work with you from a technology standpoint of turning off the alerts on your phone or your iPad or whatever, right? so that we're removing those distractions to help set you up for success with the workout before your DVDs arrive, right? You may not have your smart devices on. All my devices are smart devices. My TVs are smart. My DVD players are smart. Meaning they're all on Wi-Fi. So I have my Pandora and all that good stuff. Yeah. At the same time, Ellen told me she had 2 boys, 9 and 7. How do I bring those into the mix? Well, let's say she said her boys were 2 and 3. So here's what I teach. Cool. So what I want you to do is I want you to take bath mats and bath towels and lay them down like yoga mats in front of you. Okay. Now we're now teaching the kids healthy workout space, healthy workout habits. They're not under your feet when you're kicking them, doing your combat or turbo fire or whatever. I don't care whether they do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or the whole thing. I'm teaching the whole family healthy eating habits, healthy workout habits. No one's left behind, regardless of who they are, what they are, whatever. Does that make sense? But at the same time, exercise not meant to be a chore. So let's say I have older kids or a spouse. Then, I teach how to invite them to join me, but I don't force you to do it. For example, let's say I have a 16-year-old daughter. She's a little bigger. She's got some body image issues. She's got some self-esteem issues. And I would love to see her working out more. This is why everything I do is custom designed to run the family. So, and I know that she's slow. And I'm not saying mentally slow, and please don't take that offensive, because that's not how I mean that. I mean slow as in she's just kind of, rolls through life, does her own thing. What teenager doesn't, right? Okay, I don't have kids. I'm sure most of you guys do. Anyways, so I might say, all right, I'm putting on my shoes and heading to the gym in 15 minutes. I've now given the household, regardless of age, a 15-minute warning that I'm heading to the gym, that if they're going to join me, they need to get on the ball, right? Good. I get some nods. Good. So, again, conscious decisions. I can apply that to anything. I'm getting ready to go for my walk. I'm getting ready to, go to the store. I'm getting ready to whatever, my bike ride. I'm putting on my shoes, heading through in 15 minutes. Be ready or not. Kind of, those kinds of tips, tricks are how we help our kids and or spouse, in my opinion, create healthier habits or participate because we've invited them versus forcing them. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. I know we're at an hour and 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and open it up for Q&A. And then if I need to, I can come back and do another guest speaker spot.
Yes, first I would like to say thank you, Hank, for all of your time and your wonderful wisdom and experience. And you said so many things that I'm sure we all have benefited from, and given us some real insight and ideas that have, I'm sure, not even crossed any of our minds of how to approach some people when we're inviting, things that we can ask them and focus on. The amount of time that you took to really get to know them is really vital, and that's what's really important and what's come through for me anyway. Do you happen to have a copy of the challenge application that you use that you might be able to share with us?
Yes, I use Google Docs, so it's all out on the web, versus when I first started back in the day, I was using Word documents. I found that when I used Word documents, I basically had to chase people down.
Right.
And you sent me the wrong copy. No. So everything's web enabled. So I'm going to go ahead and post in the group, and I'm doing right. So I have my iPhone, my iPad, and my laptop. That's what I'm looking over here. And I'm going to post it as a comment to my post earlier today. Where is my post? There it is. Well, there you go. It's the so when Laura Renton had asked the question, what fitness program would you recommend for a female wanting to increase upper body strength?
Right.
So I reminded, hey, I'm going to go over that in the in the
Yes.
Zoom call. So I've now posted a link to the Hank Rouse Challenge Group intake form as a comment on that post.
Okay. I see.
Exactly as I see. For those of you who are more tech savvy, by all means, feel free to copy, paste, create your own. Feel free to edit the questions.
Awesome.
I would suggest for now, if you're newer to this process, copy and paste. And then later on, as you come up with your own secret sauce recipe formula, then customize and edit as you come to have a larger understanding of the process.
Right.
At the same time, I want to assign everyone some homework. And this is something, when I used to do this, it would be one-on-one with a coach. And then I would assign that a coach homework. And now I do these in group format sometimes. It's a little more difficult, but it works. And so I use the same homework format. So my homework to each of you who is on this call, and I know that Christina already, Christina dropped out, is you are to post in the group. So Team Dream Believers that, Hank has assigned me. What your homework is to role play this scenario with 3 other coaches. What that does for you, it builds up your verbiage, it builds up your confidence, as well as it allows you to put in your personal beliefs and tweaks as to, because, for example, Holly's fitness and my fitness are probably very different. I'm not saying program wise, but your personal belief in nutrition and fitness based on your journey. I would, I don't know you, Holly, so I don't know what your journey is. Like, you came from 100+ pounds. That was never me. I've always been Joe Sixpack. So she's going to have a different story, a different way that she weaves those pieces together based on her personal belief system and experience and what she knows of Beachbody and what Beachbody, not just what Beachbody has done for her, but the things that she did prior to Beachbody. Does that make sense? Okay, so that in the end, in the 3 role plays, that becomes part of the takeaway, is becoming more comfortable in your own custom verbiage, language, all of that stuff. Now, you're required to do it via Zoom, because I want you to work to then build those inter-team relationships with one another. So when you get to the event, whether it be the cruise or summit or anything, you have common bond friendships, not just in Facebook. So people you want to hang with by the pool and all of that kind of stuff. Make sense?
Great.
The last piece of this is we don't do shit shows. Shit shows, again, excuse my language, means, hey, I'm looking for 3 coaches to do role plays with. No, absolutely not. Everything's around the appointment. So you're going to post, hey guys, I'm looking for my 3 coaches to do role plays with. I have Saturday at noon EST. I have Sunday at 3 p.m. EST. And you're giving specific time slots, no different than you would do to one of your customers or coaches. If I have to banter back and forth, what time is you talking about? What day is that? That's a waste of time. That's a huge waste of time. In my case, it's $100 an hour for me to train a coach. That's how I value my time. It's $40 an hour for me to train a customer one-on-one. That's how I value my time. And I want you, and I'm not saying you guys don't value your time. You have other priorities. Most of you work. Most of you have kids. Some of you have pets, I'm sure. You have spouses. So when you put these pieces of the puzzle into the mix, you then have a much more efficiently run business. Therefore, you create a better work-life balance between coaching and your full-time stuff and your family. Does that make sense? So those appointments are part of the key. So real quickly, so it's posting for looking for 3 other coaches. You're going to specify your time slots available using your time zones, because we don't always know when people travel or where they're located in the world sometimes. So, and there's nothing worse than getting ready for a call going, oh, I thought it was 4 o'clock EST. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'd include time zone. So I want to waste time. Especially when there's 40 coaches at times booked out on my calendar. That's a lot of my week already taken up. in the role plays, I would prefer, for those of you who are newer, keep it simple. I want you to work through the verbiage, the talking language, your note track, your notes. I wrote notes for everything that Ellen said and that Angela said. So, because this goes in my systems, so I have it later on down the road. I want you to get, find out what works for you. Forming should not be a game of 20 questions. For me, that's not fun. That's why I use the hurdle, because I get a lot of that stuff in, and I'm able to then jump off with questions. I'm not saying you have to use an application or hurdle as part of this. I simply want you to do the role plays with one another so that you build up that confidence and you build up that verbiage. If you're talking to someone who's been around the block a few times as a coach, who knows their stuff, then yes, absolutely, play devil's advocate. There's no better way to learn. That's the key. There's no better way to learn. Then lastly, I would like you to then send to Bonnie, could be a Facebook PM, it doesn't matter, that you got your 3 in and who are they with, okay? So that for those of you who are working one-on-one with Bonnie, you and her can kind of figure out what the next step is. For example, in my case, for some coaches who have lower self-esteem, 3 wasn't enough. They learned a lot, so I then have them do 3 more. And another 3, because that's where they're at in their verbiage, if they don't have a lot of verbiage, okay? So that then when you're in your one-on-one with Bonnie, you and Bonnie can then help figure out what the next step is in your training. Meaning, okay, yep, here's a video you need to see or watch or a forming document to read to help learn questions or whatever. Does that make sense?
Great.
And then lastly, I know that part of what Bonnie's really working with each of you is helping you to learn how to not just achieve Success Club, but then, how to get all that stuff going. So ideally, when I'm doing the role plays, it ends up, we do have, in fact, the coach conversation. It is not just the challenge pack or the fitness program or Shakeology. We take it through all the way, challenge pack, all the way to coach side, that in the end, that helps you so much so that when someone has questions, you're able to answer them. We're always here to help you. We're always here to help you. But the more able you are able to help yourself, the better coach you will be, the more successful coach you will be, simply because your people, your customers, your coaches are going to look at you as leaders, as individual leaders, and then which then raises your confidence. Because now you're like, oh my God, I got 10 coaches on my team. Oh my God, I got 100 coaches. That's where I started 4 years ago, was getting the first 10 coaches, and then 25, and then 100, and then 500, and 1,000, So all these pieces of the puzzle are designed to help build up your verbiage, which in turn is your self-confidence in the business, the programs, all of that, which makes for a much better one-on-one mentoring program for you and your success as a coach. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Any last minute questions?
I think we definitely should schedule a part 2 at some point, because I think everyone here has probably at least a handful of objections that they get from people that they would love to hear how you would handle.
Sure.
So yeah, I like that idea of doing a part 2. But this was awesome. This in itself, just hearing how you go from beginning to end. And we'd also love to hear how you first start out before you even give them the challenge application, how you the first words out of your mouth. I know Lori's most of the coaches here would love to hear that part as well. So let's definitely, we'll figure out a time to do a part 2. But thank you, Hank, so much for this. This really was a great call. Very valuable. We really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. And, please post when Bonnie posts a recording in the group. Yeah, that'd be a great place to post questions. Because in the end, if I can train 100 coaches, it's much more productive for me versus training 1 coach. I love my one-on-ones. Don't get me wrong. We all only have the same 168 hours a week, though, right? So the more that I can post, I can train a group, versus the one-on-one, the more efficient that I am with helping get out all the stuff that I do. So I'm going to ask you to post there, and then if it's something a little more complicated, then it might be something that I'll post a video about, or maybe it's something that Bonnie and I will discuss one-on-one, and then she'll relate to you, or if it's something super complicated or super specialized to your, even if we all do the same thing, we all do it very differently. If it's something very specific to your business and your business model, then yeah, I might even invite you to a one-on-one, and we can kind of hash it out yourself. So.
Okay, great. Thank you again, Hank. This was an awesome call.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Welcome.
Bye.
And I expect you all at Summit.
Yes, we'll see you at Summit.
Cool. Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye.